It was early morning in the deep jungle. The sun had just started to rise, and golden light touched the leaves. Birds were singing, monkeys were calling, and everything seemed peaceful. The jungle was alive but calm. Suddenly, everything changed. Loud, powerful roar echoed through the forest. Birds flew away in fear. Monkeys jumped from tree to tree. The sound came from a tiger, but this was not a normal roar. It was a roar of pain. The tiger, a big and strong male, was rolling on the islandy ground. He was not fighting another animal. He was not hunting. He was trying to escape something small. Something strange. Bees. Thousands of bees. They were everywhere, flying around him, crawling on his body, covering his face, his back, his legs. The tiger tried to run, but the bees followed. He tried to shake them off, but more came. His eyes were red. His skin was swelling. He was under attack, but this was not normal bee behavior. These bees were moving in perfect lines. They were not acting wild. They were organized, fast and angry. It was like someone was controlling them. Far away, in a small forest lab, a young wildlife researcher named Mira was watching her screen. She had placed secret cameras deep in the jungle to study animal behavior. One of her screens started to shake. The signal was glitching. Then, she heard the roar. She quickly turned up the volume. The sound was clear. A tiger was crying in pain. Mira frowned. She had studied these tigers for many months. She knew their patterns, their movements, their hunting times. But today, something was different. She zoomed in on the video feed. What she saw made her eyes go wide. A tiger, strong and beautiful, was covered in a cloud of bees. It was rolling in the mud, trying to save itself. Around it, the bees were flying in patterns, like soldiers. It didn't make sense. Why would bees attack a tiger? And why were they behaving so perfectly? Mira's heart started beating faster. This is not normal, she whispered. She clicked a few buttons and sent a scan from one of her small flying drones. The drone flew quickly through the jungle, high above the trees. Within minutes, it reached the location. The drone sent back data, heat signals, movement, strange energy patterns. Mira's screen showed a glowing red circle around the tiger's location, but the bees were not giving up. The drone's camera caught something even more strange. The bees were not only attacking the tiger, they were protecting something behind it. Something glowing. What are they guarding? Mira asked herself. She quickly contacted her team. We have a problem, she said. Back in the jungle, the tiger was getting weaker. It was now lying on the ground, breathing heavily. The bees were still there, but now they were calm, just sitting on the tiger's body, almost like they were watching. The jungle was silent again, but something had changed. Behind the trees, deep in the shadows, something moved. A strange shape. Not human, not animal, disappeared into the trees. The camera didn't catch it clearly, but Mira saw a flash of light, and then static on the screen. She stared at the frozen image of the tiger. This is not just nature, she said softly. Something else is out there. She stood up, grabbed her gear, and called her drone back. She didn't know what she would find in the jungle, but she knew one thing. The tiger needed help, and something unnatural was controlling the bees. As Mira packed her tools, another signal blinked on her screen. Unknown source detected. Life form signature not human. Mira's eyes narrowed. The rescue mission was no longer just about saving the tiger. It was about discovering the truth hidden deep in the jungle. Before it was too late. The jungle was quiet again, but Mira's mind was not. She stood frozen in her lab, eyes locked on the last frame from the drone footage. A strange shape, not animal, not human, had appeared behind the trees, then disappeared. Her heart beat fast. Her hands shook slightly as she replayed the video again and again. Each time, that flash of light in the shadows sent chills down her spine. Her computer beeped. A new signal had been detected, not a normal wildlife alert, but a coded message from the tiger's location. The screen glowed red, unknown source. Detected frequency, non-human. Mira leaned in. She had studied animal signals her whole life. Tiger growls, elephant rumbles, bird calls. But this was different. It wasn't a sound. It was a digital pulse, like a hidden message, repeating again and again in short waves. She opened her emergency channel and connected to her AI assistant, Neo. Neo, analyze the signal, she said. Processing. Frequency is alien. Structure is mathematical. Possible intelligent origin. Message repeating every 47 seconds. Mira stared at the waveform. The signal was being sent from the tiger itself. How is that possible? She whispered. She zoomed into the frame again. The tiger's neck had something tied around it. It was small, half buried under fur, but glowing faint blue, a device. Someone or something had placed it there. That tiger wasn't just a victim. It was carrying a message. Mira couldn't wait anymore. She grabbed her gear, drone controller, tranquilizer, and bioscanner. She sent out a call to her field rescue team. Only 3 members could respond. Ravi, a jungle tracker and wildlife medic. Isha, a tech expert who could read alien tech like Second Nature. And Leo, an ex-special ops who had seen strange things in secret missions no one spoke about. They all trusted Mira. When she said, urgent, they came. By sunset, they reached the jungle edge. The path ahead was dark, dense, and buzzing with tension. Bees were already in the air, but they weren't attacking. They flew in patterns, smooth and slow, like they were watching from above. Leo looked up. This ain't natural, not at all. Isha pointed to her scanner. Energy spikes. Just like the ones we saw near that crashed probe last year. Mira nodded. This isn't a rescue mission anymore. Something bigger is happening here. They moved quietly through the trees, following the drone's path. With each step, the buzzing grew louder. The jungle began to feel colder, though the air was still. Strange flowers glowed faint blue. Tree trunks had a shimmer, as if touched by something not from Earth. They reached the tiger's last location. The ground was torn, the mud stained with deep paw marks. The tiger had clearly struggled, but it was gone now. No blood, no body. Just silence. And then the signal returned. Neo beeped inside Mira's headset. Signal source moved -300 meters east. Life form still active, tracked via implant. He's still alive, Mira said. Let's move. The team advanced carefully. The bees around them didn't attack, but hovered near, like guardians. When they reached the source, what they saw made them stop. The tiger lay under a tree, breathing slowly, its body swollen from stings. But it was alive. And on its neck, the device blinked blue, sending the signal again. Ravi rushed forward to help, but suddenly, screech. The sound was sharp, electric, not from any living creature. From the shadows, a large hive-like structure emerged from the ground, shaped like a dome. Glowing lines ran across it like nerves. The bees moved fast now, forming a wall between the team and the tiger. They're protecting the hive, Isha said. Or maybe something inside it. Neo beeped again. Life form signature detected. Unknown species. Inside hive. Mira took a slow step forward. Wait. Leo said. This could be a trap. Mira didn't stop. She raised both hands and showed her scanner to the bees. They didn't attack. Instead, they parted slightly, like they recognized her. She reached. The tiger. It looked at her with tired eyes full of pain. And something else. Trust. She scanned the device. The screen flashed. Message for human receiver. Play now? Mira clicked yes. A voice played in her earpiece. But it wasn't a voice. It was a translation. The tiger was the carrier. We chose him for strength, for courage. We need your help. Do not harm the hive. The queen is not the enemy. There is a greater danger coming. Mira's eyes widened. They're not attacking, she whispered. They're warning us. The bees, the hive, the tiger. Everything was part of a message, not of war, but of survival. The jungle was darker now. The sun had set behind the tall trees, and only the glow from the strange hive lit the forest floor. The air was thick with mist. And bees, thousands of them, flying in perfect shapes, like a moving wall of gold and black. Mira knelt beside the tiger. Its body was weak, but its eyes followed her every move. She gently removed the small blinking device from its neck and slipped it into her scanner. The tiger didn't flinch. It trusted her. Behind her, Ravi, Isha, and Leo watched in silence. None of them had ever seen anything like this. The hive was alive. Its outer layer moved like skin, pulsing with energy. Strange symbols blinked across it like breathing lights. Leo whispered, "What the hell is this place?" Mira stood up slowly. "I think we're standing in something much bigger than just nature. This isn't just a hive. It's a message." Station. The bees suddenly shifted. The swarm parted, not all the way, but just enough to reveal a narrow path between the trees. It was like an invitation. Or a warning. "They want us to go inside," said Isha, eyes wide. Ravi checked. "His tranquilizer. We don't even know what's in there." Mira looked at her team. "We need answers. The tiger brought us here for a reason. Let's move, but slowly." As they entered the path, the buzzing grew louder, but strangely soothing, like a low hum in their heads. It wasn't just sound. It felt like communication, thoughts, feelings, images. Mira stopped. "Can you feel that?" she asked. Isaiah nodded. "Yes, it's like the bees are sharing emotions, fear, protection, warning." They walked deeper, and the trees opened up into a hidden valley, glowing faint blue. In the center stood the hive heart, a huge dome-like structure with a crystal-like tip. The bees circled it gently. No attack. No movement toward the team. It was silent. Too silent. Suddenly, the ground shook. A loud vibration passed through the air. The bees scattered for a moment, forming a spiral above the hive. From the top of the dome, a bright beam of light shot into the sky. It lasted only 5 seconds, then faded. What was that? Ravi asked, gripping his gear. Mira checked her scanner. That was a signal, sent up, not down. "Someone is watching this hive," Leo said. "And now they know we're here." The team approached the hive slowly. As they got closer, the air grew colder. There was no door, no entrance, just a smooth surface. Mira placed her hand on it. The hive responded. A section of the wall melted open, revealing a tunnel of soft blue light. "This is it," Mira said. "The bees want us to see what's inside." Inside the hive, it was quiet. No buzzing, just a soft humming from the walls. The tunnel led to a central chamber. It was round with clear crystal pillars, and in the center floated a large cocoon-like structure. Inside it, something moved. It was the queen bee, but not like anything found on Earth. She was 10 times the size of a normal bee. Her body covered in golden armor like plates. Her wings were folded tight. Her eyes glowed faint green. She didn't move toward them. She just watched. The chamber lit up with projections. Holograms of planets, stars, and alien creatures filled the space. One image stayed still, a dark, massive shape in space, heading toward Earth. Ivade gasped. "That's not a planet. That's a ship." "A massive one," Neo's voice spoke in Mira's earpiece. "Warning. Object approaching Earth's orbit. Unidentified. Estimated arrival, 72 hours. Mira stared at the queen. "She's not our enemy. She's hiding here." From that, the queen blinked slowly, and the images changed again, this time showing planets being destroyed by swarms of dark energy, creatures screaming, hives being burned. Then, a final message appeared on Mira's scanner. The tiger was the last. Messenger. Now you must decide. Protect the hive or Earth will face what we ran from. Leo stepped back. They're refugees. Running from something bigger. Ravi looked around. And now that something is coming here. Suddenly, the hive shook again, this time harder. Outside, the bees became wild. A loud scream echoed from the sky. A sound none of them had ever heard before. Neo spoke again. Enemy scout detected. One hostile has entered Earth's atmosphere. Mira looked at her team. It's already here, and this hive is the first target. She clenched her fist. We're not just rescuers anymore. We're the line between Earth and invasion. Asterisk. The wind outside the hive howled. The team stood frozen inside the glowing chamber, surrounded by alien light and strange energy. The queen bee remained still, cocooned in her crystal shell. But the room felt alive, as if the hive itself was watching. Suddenly, the floor beneath them shifted. The ground didn't crack or break, it opened like a living thing, revealing a hidden staircase spiraling downward into the earth. Blue mist rose from below. The air turned cooler. A soft vibration came from the steps, like a low heartbeat. Mira took a deep breath. They want us to go deeper. Leo tightened his grip on his rifle. Or they're leading us into a trap. Ravi looked around. Either way, we need answers. We're already inside. Isha scanned the staircase. Energy levels down there are higher. And something else. I'm reading metal structures. This isn't just a hive. It's built on something ancient. Mira stepped forward, her scanner glowing. Let's find out what's hidden below. They descended into the darkness. With each step, the buzzing of the bees faded, replaced by something else. A deep hum, almost like chanting. The light around them grew brighter the deeper they went. The walls were smooth, not like hive wax, but metallic, glowing with alien symbols. The staircase ended in a giant underground dome. This was not part of the hive. This was a forgotten structure, built long before the bees arrived. In the center of the dome stood a strange pillar, tall, silver, and spinning slowly. Around it floated dozens of crystal memory nodes, glowing faint green. They pulsed like stars, sending thin beams of light into the pillar. The entire room felt sacred. Mira whispered, "What is this place?" Neo's voice spoke in her earpiece. "This is a data core. Origin unknown. Connected to hive neural system. Contains memory archives from another world." Isha touched one of the crystal nodes. It lit up instantly, projecting an image into the air. They saw a world, green, beautiful, full of light, and then fire. Darkness spread. Black swarms, like smoke with claws, covered the skies. Cities fell. Creatures ran. Hives burned. The queen bee they saw earlier was there too, but she was younger, leading her people away from the falling sky. Another message appeared in the air. We came to Earth as survivors. Not to take, but to warn. Ravi's voice shook. They're not invaders, they're refugees. Running from something far worse. Leo stared at the screen. And that something is coming here. Suddenly, the data core flickered. A new image appeared. Not bees. Not the queen. But humans. Mira's heart skipped. There were old videos of scientists in secret labs, working on alien technology. On one screen, a tiger cub was shown being fitted with a glowing collar, the same device Mira found on the tiger in the jungle. Another message played. Earth leaders knew. They tested communication with alien survivors. They made contact. Then, they stopped listening. Mira clenched her fists. They knew this day would come. Without warning, the lights flickered violently, and Eo's voice cracked. Warning! Enemy drone detected. Hive defense systems activating. Back above, the bees roared into the air. Outside the hive, something fast and black broke through the clouds. It wasn't human. It wasn't even shaped like a ship. It was a living machine, a scout from the same force that destroyed the Queens. Home planet Dot. It released a piercing signal. A loud shriek heard across miles of jungle. The hive responded instantly. Bees poured from hidden tunnels. The walls of the hive thickened. Defense towers, hidden until now, rose from the earth like bones. Glowing blue cannons aimed at the sky. Leo looked at Myra. This is war. Mira stared at the spinning data core. No, she said quietly. This is the beginning. She turned to Isha. Can we communicate back to that thing in space? The big one coming toward Earth? Isha looked nervous. Maybe, but we'll need more power. The hive could do it. If the Queen helps us, Myra nodded. Then we ask her. They rushed back up the staircase. The hive was shaking. The Queen's cocoon was open now. She was awake, her wings slowly moving. Her glowing eyes locked onto Mira. Mira stepped forward, slowly, respectfully. We want to help you. But we need to send a message. We need your voice. The Queen didn't speak with words. She sent out a signal, a pulse through the air. The bees around them flew upward, forming a glowing path of light straight into the sky. A message began, not just from the Queen, but from Earth. The sky above the jungle was no longer peaceful. Dark clouds gathered fast. The light from the hive's signal beam lit up the sky like a glowing pillar. Bees flew in perfect spirals around it, creating a shield of living light. The queen bee hovered beside the signal tower, wings outstretched, her golden body glowing with energy. She was no longer hiding. She was leading, but she wasn't just sending a message. She was unlocking one. Inside the hive, Mira stood still, staring at the projection in front of her. A new data stream had started, a glowing sequence of symbols, rotating slowly. At first, it looked like just alien language, but then the symbols began to change into English words the hive had begun translating. A new voice filled the chamber, calm, mechanical, female. Archive message 007. Humanity was warned once before. It did not listen. This is the final chance. Everyone went quiet, even the bees. The voice continued. The carrier, the tiger, was chosen. Strong, silent, trusted by the wild. He was not a victim. He was a messenger. Mira's heart dropped. All this time they thought they were saving the tiger, but the tiger had come to save them. Ravi stepped forward. So, this whole rescue mission, it was planned? Isha nodded slowly. The hive sent the tiger into human space. The device on his neck, it wasn't a tracker, it was a key, a signal key. Only humans could unlock it. Mira looked at her scanner. The message was still unfolding. New visuals appeared, video clips from Earth's secret labs years ago, hidden projects, silence discoveries. One scene showed a tiger cub, the same tiger, raised near strange alien tech. Human scientists discovered the hive decades ago. They decoded part of the warning, but they were afraid. They chose silence over truth. Another voice took over. This time, not robotic. It was a man's voice. Old, tired, human. If you are hearing this, it means the enemy has arrived. I was part of Project Hiveguard. We studied the Queen's memory, her world, her people, but we never finished the work. We were shut down. We chose one creature to carry the key. Not a soldier, not a machine, but a tiger. Nature's balance. Trusted by no one, feared by all. He would walk through wild and man without suspicion. Leo's fists clenched. So the tiger was walking through Earth all these years, waiting for this moment. Yes, Mira whispered, and no one knew. Suddenly, alarms rang in the hive. Neo's voice echoed fast and sharp. Hostile energy detected. Hive under surveillance. Enemy signal trying to override the Queen's channel. Outside, the sky cracked. A black orb, like a living eye, floated above the jungle. It released a wave of dark static, breaking apart the hive's signal beam. The bees buzzed louder, flying faster, forming a defensive wall. The queen let out a sharp pulse, not a sound, but a thought that filled the minds of the humans. The enemy knows the message is open. They are coming faster now. You must finish what your kind started. Mira turned to Isha. We need to fully decode this message. There must be more. Isha's hands moved quickly over her device. There. The message isn't just a warning. She paused. It's a map. Everyone stared at her. A map to what? Leo asked. Isha looked at Myra, to the next hive. Mira's eyes widened. There's more? Isha nodded. Yes, the tiger was only one messenger. There are others, other animals, other carriers, other hives. The queen blinked, confirming the truth. Mira looked down at the injured tiger lying beside the signal base, his body tired, but eyes wide open. You were never lost, she said softly. You were leading us. Then the projection changed again, now showing the final part of the message. If humanity wants to survive, it must protect what it fears. The wild, the unknown, the forgotten. The enemy does not fear strength. It fears unity. Mira stood tall. We have to protect this hive. Leo raised his weapon. Then let's prepare. Neo's voice returned, louder than ever. Enemy fleet approaching. Arrival in 48 hours. The queen released a final pulse into the sky. A command. Suddenly, from all directions, other animals began to appear in the jungle. Wolves, birds, panthers, all wearing faint glowing collars. They too had heard the call. The war had not begun, but the alliance had. The jungle was no longer quiet, it was alive with energy, buzzing, and the heavy sound of approaching war. Bees filled the sky like a glowing shield. Their patterns moved like one giant mind, no chaos, just perfect unity. The injured tiger, the chosen carrier, stood tall now. His wounds were healing slowly under the hive's light. His eyes glowed faint. Gold, not with pain, but with purpose. He was ready. Around the hive, strange animals began to appear from the trees. Wolves, birds, even elephants. All had glowing collars, just like the tiger once had. They moved without fear, surrounding the hive like soldiers. Returning to a long-forgotten post, these were the other messengers, the protectors. They had been hidden all along, walking Earth's wild places silently, waiting for the signal. Now, they were awake. Mira stood at the edge of the clearing, watching the scene unfold. Her team, Ravi, Isha, and Leo, stood beside her. Isha tapped her tablet. Confirmed. The message has reached all nearby hives. Some are activating. Good, Myra said. We'll need all of them. Leo looked toward the sky. His eyes narrowed. There. High above, the clouds began to move unnaturally, like something massive was pushing through the atmosphere. Black shapes pierced the sky, enemy scouts, living machines. Cold, sharp, quiet, deadly. They had come. Suddenly, a beam of dark energy fired from the sky. It struck the jungle, burning trees instantly, cutting the ground like a blade. The first attack had begun. Bees swarmed into defensive formations. The queen released a long, low signal, and the animals on the ground moved into position. Mira looked at her scanner. Enemy fleet, 6 approaching. Ada, 1 hour. This is it, she said. This is our stand. Leo cocked his weapon. Let's give them something to remember. Ravi quickly moved to the tiger and injected him with a healing boost. The tiger growled softly and stepped forward. Not running, not scared, leading. He took his place beside the queen. He was no longer just a messenger. He was a general now. In the sky, the enemy ships started to spread out. They weren't just looking to destroy the hive. They were looking to erase everything. The memories, the message, the alliance. Inside the hive, the signal beam began to flicker. It was losing power. "They're jamming the core," Isha shouted. "If that signal dies, we lose contact with the other hives." Mira ran to the base of the signal tower. "We need more energy," the queen buzzed loudly. She knew what to do. She flew upward, directly into the beam, her wings glowing brighter and brighter. She was feeding it her own life force, her energy. To keep the signal alive, Ravi looked up. "She's going to burn out. She knows," Mira whispered. "But she's choosing to protect the message." Then came the second wave. Enemy drones dropped from the sky, slamming into the jungle floor like metal spiders. They moved fast, firing electric webs and sonic blasts. The animals didn't wait. The wolves pounced. The birds flew into their eyes. Even the elephants charged with force. The bees swarmed the drones, clogging their wings, crashing them into trees. Myra's team joined the battle. Leo opened fire. Isha used a sonic disruptor to fry drone circuits. Ravi covered the tiger, keeping enemies away. It wasn't just a fight. It was a battlefield of Earth's wild heart versus machines with no soul. The queen's light began to fade. She was getting weaker, but then something incredible happened. A new signal lit up Myra's scanner, a response from space. "We hear you. The hive stands. We will come." Another queen had answered. More hives were awakening, one in the mountains, one under the ocean, and one hidden in the Arctic. Earth's natural network was rising. Myra's eyes filled with hope. They're not alone anymore. Just then, one of the enemy ships changed course. It turned downward, heading straight for the main hive. Ish gasped. "They're going to destroy it. Suicide dive." Myra's mind raced. "We have to stop that ship, or the queen dies. And everything ends." The tiger looked at her, then at the sky. Without hesitation, he ran. He moved faster than ever before, glowing brighter with each step. He climbed a hill, reached the high ground, and roared, a roar that echoed across the jungle. Then he jumped. The queen sent a final pulse, and the sky exploded in light. Huge boom rocked the earth. The ship was down. The hive still stood, but the tiger was gone. Silence. Then Mira's scanner lit up again. Vital signs detected. Carrier alive. She smiled through tears. He made it. The queen fell to the ground, her energy almost gone, but her signal still strong. The message had been protected. Enemy was pushed back, but Earth had only won the first battle. The smoke had cleared. The jungle, once burning and buzzing with war, was now silent. Trees stood broken. The sky was dark with ash. The ground was scarred with craters. But in the middle of the chaos, the hive still stood. Barely. Its outer layers were cracked. Some bees flew slowly now, their wings burnt. The queen bee lay in the center, weak but alive. Her light was dim, but not gone. She had given everything to keep the message alive. The tiger limped through the ash. His body was covered in burns and scars, but his spirit, unbroken. Around him, animals gathered quietly. Wolves, birds, panthers, all hurt, but still standing. Survivors of a war they never asked for. Leo stood beside Mira, his clothes torn, his gun out of bullets. He looked up at the sky. "Are we safe now?" Mira didn't answer right away. She held her scanner. A final message from the hive was flashing. A sentence that appeared in glowing golden letters. "The first wave is over. The real test begins." Isha stepped forward. "More are coming. Bigger ships, stronger forces. This was only the scout team." Ravi looked around at the damaged jungle. "How are we supposed to stop them?" Mira turned to face them. Her eyes calm, but sharp. "We don't fight alone anymore." She pointed to the sky. Signals were now shooting up from other corners of the world. Light beams from the Arctic, the deep sea, the mountains and ancient forests. The other hives had awakened. The other messengers were moving. But that was not the real question. The queen, with the last of her strength, sent a pulse. One final message appeared across all screens, written not in code, but in words even a child could understand. Your world still has a choice. Nature remembers, but does humanity? Mira felt the words in her bones. This wasn't about weapons. This was about balance. The hive had protected Earth because it still believed humanity was worth saving. But now, the decision was in human hands. Governments around the world picked up the signal. News channels showed the skies glowing. Scientists who once hid the truth came forward. Old files were unlocked. For the first time, the people of Earth saw the truth. The bees, the tiger, the hives, the enemy and the stars. And they asked the question together, what do we do now? In the jungle, the queen slowly lifted her head and sent one final pulse, not to Mira, not to Earth, but to the stars. A message that said, we are ready. Then she closed her eyes. Peacefully. She had completed her mission. Mira walked to her, knelt down, and placed her hand gently on the queen's body. You gave us a second chance, she whispered. We won't waste it. The tiger roared once more, not in anger, not in pain, but in power. That sound echoed through the jungle, through the hives, through Earth itself. It was the sound of life choosing to stand together. Back at the lab, Mira uploaded all the hive data into Earth's global systems. The files were no longer classified. The truth was no longer hidden. She called the project Project Unity. The goal was clear: reconnect with nature, protect what was once feared, build defenses with the wild, not against it. The final words on the screen were simple. Humanity was given a warning. It turned into a war, but war gave them a gift, a choice. And the voice of the hive returned, one last time. The future is not written in stars, it is written in the roots. In the phase roar, in the swarm, and in the hands of those who choose to remember.